For the past 4 years, Judge Harford has been a key resource for Chadron State College senior social work students during the planning phase of their annual conference. He helps identify speakers in his professional network who are legal or criminal justice experts and provides other resources, information, and feedback. In 2017, Russ was influential in securing the Nebraska Court of Appeals hearing oral arguments on campus. It was the first event of its type at CSC, and he was pleased to see the Court of Appeals convene at CSC after convening at high schools and colleges in other parts of the state. He said he anticipates the Court of Appeals will return to the CSC campus. With the assistance of CSC Legal Studies professors, Dr. Lisette Leash and Dr. Mike Bogner, Russ was able to secure legal aid of a Nebraska kiosk in the King Library. The kiosk provides assistance to anyone with landlord, tenant, or credit debtor issues. He's a longtime member and past president of the Chadron Rotary Club and the treasurer of the Chadron Public School Foundation. This fall, Russ received the Distinguished Alumni Award in honor of his service to the campus, community, and his profession's accomplishments. Please welcome Judge Russell Harford.
Dr. Ryan, Mr. Bagansky, faculty and staff, parents, family, and friends of the graduates, and most importantly, this graduating class. It is a privilege for me to be able to give this commencement address. I have to admit that when I received the letter from Dr. Ryan asking me to make this presentation today, my first reaction was one of panic. I've never done anything like this before, and I wondered what would be appropriate to say at a college commencement address. In high school, I learned how to type on a manual typewriter. They hadn't invented the electric typewriter yet. So I'm not very technologically savvy, but I heard that you can find out how to do anything if you just go on the internet. So I Googled college commencement speech on the internet, hoping to find some ideas about what to say to a graduating class of college students. I was truly disappointed because the internet was not as helpful as I had hoped in identifying what it is I should say. It was helpful, though, in identifying the things I shouldn't say. I'll touch on those in just a bit. What the internet indicated was that a commencement speech should not be any longer than 10 to 15 minutes. Some sites recommended exactly 12 minutes. Apparently, if you speak longer than that, the audience loses its train of thought and zones you out. Maybe that's where this saying comes from. Your mind can only absorb as much as your butt can endure. Let me repeat that. Your mind can only absorb as much as your butt can endure. I've sat in these seats. I've sat in similar seats before. So in deference to your butts, I'm going to limit my comments to 15 minutes or less. As I sat on the couch, still holding the letter from Dr. Ryan in one hand and my iPad in the other, I thought back to my 3 college commencements. I don't remember anything that any of the speakers said at those graduations. I have 3 children who have a combined total of 5 college degrees. I've attended their graduation ceremonies, the graduation ceremonies for other family members and friends. I don't remember the content of any of those addresses either. At least at my own graduations, I was more concerned about getting my diploma, making sure it was signed, and being done with commencement so I could celebrate with my family and friends. I wasn't intent on listening to some old guy like me give advice or words of wisdom. Getting back to the internet cautioned about using cliches in my address. Sayings like, "This is the beginning of a new chapter in your life," or "The future belongs to you," or "This is your day," don't really have much to add to a commencement address, and they've lost their impact by overuse. While those sayings are applicable to your situation today, I'm not going to say any more about that. The internet did indicate that the general theme of a college commencement was to impart wisdom on you that would make you successful and happy. Already you have been successful. You are graduating with a degree from Chadron State College. You didn't accomplish this without hard work, motivation and focus, perseverance, and maybe a little bit of luck along the way. Each of those characteristics have served you well in the past and will continue to serve you well into the future. If you haven't already, you need to thank your parents, your family, and your friends for the support they have given you over the past years. Your parents and others that are significant in your lives have imparted on you the work ethic and dedication necessary for you to be successful in the future. You should thank the faculty for sharing their wisdom with you and believing in you when I'm sure at times they wondered if you would ever make it to this point. You should thank the college staff for helping you with various administrative steps you had to take along the way in your education, from financial aid, registration for classes, the food service, custodial staff, all of whom have contributed to you having a great learning experience in a great institution and facility. Lastly, and most importantly, you should be proud of yourself and give yourself a pat on the back for your efforts in obtaining a degree. Going forward from today, you already have the tools in your toolbox to be successful. You just need to continue to use those tools. Successful is a tremendously subjective concept. What makes someone successful to me might be completely different than your idea of successful. Some may think that being a CEO of a large company, having a lot of money, makes one successful. To others, being successful may mean a job that you find great satisfaction in doing, regardless of the pay. You might consider yourself successful if you have a family, or others being successful might mean respected by your colleagues or coworkers. Only you know what it's going to take to make you feel successful as you move forward with your life. At times, you may have to take risks to reach your goal of being successful. I wouldn't be here today had I not taken risks in my career. In 1975, I started working as a state trooper for the Nebraska State Patrol. I did that job for 10 years. I was stationed in Lincoln, Gordon, and here in Chadron. I was pretty content in that job. It had a decent salary. I was respected by most of the people in the communities where I lived, and it had a good retirement plan. I got satisfaction in helping others, usually in a time of need for those people. In the State Patrol, for the most part, in order to get promotions, you have to move around the state. I passed up a promotion opportunity that would have required that I move to Scottsbluff. Because my wife was still taking classes for her teaching degree here at Chadron State, I turned down that promotion. Moving would have complicated her finalizing that teaching degree. One day, while still working for the State Patrol, I got the bright idea that I wanted to go to law school. My plan was for me to attend law school and return to Chadron after I graduated. When I told my wife, who at that time had a good full-time job at the Child Development Center here at the college, her response was, "You what?" So after 10 years and a steady job with the State Patrol, I quit. I packed up my wife and our 3 children, who were ages 4, 7, and 9 at that time, and moved to Lincoln to go to law school. In law school, they recommend that first-year students don't work, so I didn't work during my first year of law school. My wife worked 2 and 3 part-time jobs to support us and our 3 children during my law school attendance. Fortunately, the risk paid off. I graduated from law school, moved with our family back to Chadron. I enjoyed 20 years of practicing law in the Northern Panhandle and have really enjoyed the past 10 years as a county judge. Had I not taken this risk, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to practice law in a rural area of the state or raise my children in Chadron. You may not be successful in all the risks you take. You shouldn't discontinue taking risks just because one you try doesn't work. Your life will be pretty mundane and ordinary if you're fearful of taking risks, or you refuse to take another risk after failure at a prior one. As my mother said over and over as I was growing up, if at first you don't succeed, try again. I must have been a real failure in my childhood because I remember her saying that to me repeatedly. When I was practicing law here in Chadron, the late George Watson was one of my partners. Dr. Watson, as he was referred to here on campus, taught criminal justice and legal studies classes for many years. He was a mentor to many students and a respected colleague and friend to many of the faculty and staff. Dr. Watson was able to teach full-time and practice law nearly full-time and did an excellent job at both. I thought I would like to try doing both as well. We had a young associate attorney in the office that was able to help with any law business that we were not able to do ourselves. I had been an adjunct teacher both here at Chadron State and WNCC a number of semesters and really liked teaching young people. I think it was about 2008 or 2009, there was an opening for a full-time faculty member in the criminal justice department. I applied. As I understand it, I was one of 2 applicants that were interviewed. I was the applicant that did not get the job. I was disappointed, as it is in many situations where you get all psyched up, excited about something and envision doing that job, and then not get it. My self-esteem was deflated. They say that when a door closes, another door opens up. There actually was a silver lining in my non-selection. Approximately 9 months after being not selected, the county judge here in Chadron retired, and I was a successful person picked to take his place. The other positive that came from my non-selection is that CSC got a tremendous teacher in the other applicant. He is young and energetic and has implemented many innovative classes in the criminal justice program. He and the other current faculty in that program have continued the tradition of Chadron State having the best criminal justice program in the state and the region. I've never thanked him for acing me out of the teaching position. I'm not sure he's here this afternoon, but Dr. Wada, if you are here, thank you for coming to Chadron State College and for the tremendous job you're doing for the college. Successful is a tremendously subjective concept, and so is happiness. What makes you happy may be different than what makes the person beside you happy. I'd be happy if I could ever figure out how to solve a Rubik's Cube. My suggestion to you would be for you to get involved in your community wherever you go. Most of you may be looking to relocate from Chadron or your hometown. Some of you may be off to graduate school or professional schools. Getting involved in your community or new school will increase your chances of happiness. When I returned to Chadron after completing law school, my law partners urged me to get involved in the community. They had a method to their madness. They believed that the more involved I was, the better my chances would be for recruiting clients for the law office. They also believed that being involved would increase my satisfaction and happiness and increase the likelihood that I would stay in Chadron. They were right. I joined the Chadron Rotary Club after arriving back in Chadron, got to know many of the business owners, other members of the club, and as well as a number of faculty and staff here at Chadron State who also are members of the Rotary Club. It only took an investment of 1 hour, 1 day a week for me to participate. I also served on the Chadron Planning Commission for a number of years. I had the pleasure of meeting the other commission members and knowing the employees and staff for the city of Chadron. I was also active in my church. Not only did I recruit new clients to the law office, I became friends with many of the people I recruited. It made me feel a part of the community and added to my happiness and success. It can do the same for you. Joining a service organization, being active in your church, holding a public office on the local level, being involved in volunteer organizations, or being active in school organizations, if you're attending graduate or professional schools, can have a tremendous impact on you and your success and happiness. You will feel like you're part of the community. I guarantee you will feel a sense of belonging. At the same time, you'll also be making contacts that may have benefit to you in the future. You've all heard of the adage, it's not what you know, but who you know. Like it or not, there's a lot of truth to that saying. By being active in your community, you are making contacts with people that ultimately could be your employer or could serve as references for a future career. The last wisdom I want to leave with you is an urgent request for you to treat everyone you come in contact with dignity and respect. Our country is more divided today than I've ever seen in my lifetime. It's not safe to go to church, school, country western concerts, video game competitions, or even hospitals without the threat of a mass shooting. The Republicans don't trust the Democrats don't trust the Republicans. As a result, there's a stalemate and nothing gets accomplished for the betterment of our country at a time when some action is desperately needed. Political animosity has spilled over to all facets of our society and fuels a distrust of everyone. About a month ago, one of the major news networks I saw reported that since 1 year ago, when there was the mass shooting in Las Vegas, over 300 people have been killed in our country by mass shootings. There have been at least 10 additional people killed since that news report. You can make a difference by treating everyone you come in contact with dignity and respect. You don't have to like the person. You don't have to agree with their thinking or their ideology. You can either politely disagree or silently disagree. You don't need to send homemade pipe bombs in the mail or go out and buy an AR-15 and go to their churches or their schools to settle the score or make a statement. Being a person with integrity is the most valuable asset you have. Don't let anyone take that from you. Let me conclude by saying that at least 6 times each month, I travel to Rushville for court. On my way, I listen to KSDZ Radio, which is a radio station out of Gordon and Valentine. I listen to this station because they play old country music, like Loretta Lynn, Conway Twitty, Merle Haggard. My parents were country music fans, and they listened to these songs as I was growing up. Jim Lamley is the owner of the radio station. Each day, at the end of the live portion of the broadcast, and before the pre-recorded songs and ads start, Mr. Lamley says over live radio, and I quote, "Each person you meet today will be fighting a secret battle that you know nothing about. Be kind to everyone you meet." By following that advice, you can make a difference. George Saunders, the American writer, recently gave the commencement address at Syracuse University, where he's on their faculty. He stated during that address, "What I regret most in life are failures of kindness. Those moments when another human being was there in front of me suffering, and I responded sensibly, reservedly, and mildly." My suggestion to you is that you not just respond mildly, that you make kindness a priority in your life. You may never know you've made a difference in someone's life, but if you are kind to everyone you meet, you may be the person that saves someone's life or prevents the next mass killing. You and your efforts at kindness may be the impetus our country needs to reverse the divisiveness that exists today. You will be a better person. As Mark Twain once said, kindness is the language that the deaf can hear and the blind can see. It's been my privilege to be here today. I wish each and every one of you success and happiness in your future endeavors. Use the tools in your toolbox. Don't be afraid to take risks. Be involved in your community. Treat everyone with dignity and respect, and be kind to everyone you meet. Thank you, and congratulations on your degree from Chadron State College.